Hello, everyone. Public speaking is a great art and an important life skill for anyone who wants to excel in their life. Public speaking is a very sought after skill. The most desired and useful skill for anyone in the working class, company executives, managers, teachers, basically for everyone. To learn public speaking, we have two eminent personalities. We have two academicians who do good community service for the greater good of the students' community and the public at large. I'll be raising a few questions to the both of them to get their expert opinion for enabling all of you to become excellent public speakers. During the first episode, we learned how to get started in delivering public speeches. Today, we will be learning how to deliver an informative speech. So gear up and get ready for this very entertaining and informative session. Let's get started. Hello, Dr. George. Thank you for joining us today yet again for another very informative session. I'd like to start by asking you, what is speaking to inform or an informative speech?
Well, Basreen, we have different kinds of public speaking. And one of them is called speaking to inform. Otherwise, we can call it an informative speech. And here, the speaker just talks about something, somebody, some instance, some event, which the audience members have no clues about. And this is called speaking to inform. For instance, I can deliver a short speech about the importance of protecting oneself against COVID-19. And I come up with some tips, techniques, and methods to protect each and every individual against this COVID. Probably the audience members I'm addressing or talking to may not have any idea about it. So I am sharing this specialized knowledge with them. In this way, I am speaking to inform a group of people. The target audience may be probably students or even common people or a specialized group of people, professionals, and so on and so forth. The idea is to help them know something unique and new. That's the purpose of speaking to inform.
All right. So what are the types of informative speeches?
Well, here we have different types of informative speeches. For example, speech about an object. There could be a speech about a person, an individual. It could be about a process or processes. It could even be about an event or events. And sometimes a speech to inform could be about a particular concept, probably a complex concept which common people may not be able to understand. So we help them figure out what it is all about with examples. So these are basically the four types of speaking to inform.
Okay. Yeah. So what are the objectives of a speech to inform?
Probably there are quite a few objectives, but I would like to just focus on presenting accurate information on a topic and known to the audience members. Clear presentation. Clear presentation means we need to make sure that there is clarity. Nobody should just end up saying, oh my God, I couldn't figure out what the speaker was trying to say. No. Therefore, there should be adequate clarity of expression. And then the third and the most important objective is keeping the listeners completely interested in the topic. That's one of the biggest challenges. Now, you can deliver a short speech and get away with that. But at the end of the day, you should make sure that the audience members are really interested in listening to a speech. So these are the basic objectives of a speech to inform. Is that clear?
Yes, that's very much clear. Thank you. What are the elements of an informative speech?
Elements, or I can say the basic characteristics of an informative speech are, first of all, The information that the speaker would like to share with the audience members should be absolutely unique. It shouldn't be the run-of-the-mill stuff like, I know how to preserve or conserve water. I don't need a specialist to talk about the importance of conserving water. So the information I would like to share with somebody through my speech should be unique, number one. And secondly, it should also be practically useful to the listeners. Number three, the topic that the speaker touches upon during in his speech should have been well researched, presenting facts, well verified facts. And last but not the least, the speaker has to focus on organized delivery. When I say organized delivery, first, the speaker has to just touch upon the topic, through some attention getters, and thereby helping their audience members understand what the speaker is going to talk about. So to repeat, unique information, useful information, well-researched topic, and last but not the least, the delivery should be well organized. Then we can certainly reach our goals. Otherwise, we may end up losing our audience members. That may not serve the purpose.
Right. Dr.
Yes.
George, do you think that an informative speech needs audiovisual support?
Well, it depends on the topic that the speaker has chosen to speak on. For instance, if I talk to a group of people about the importance of protecting themselves against COVID, I can straight away give them some tips and techniques one by one very quickly. For example, just to make sure that you wear your masks constantly when you go out, or drink plenty of water, keep yourself always hydrated, and so on and so forth. The information reaches them loud and clear. There's no difficulty. However, I'm going to talk about something very complex. For instance, I'm going to talk about the, the aerodynamic forces, okay, in aviation. For example, for an aircraft or an airplane to take off and land, there are some basic aerodynamic forces like thrust, drag, lift, and gravity, and so on. When I uh, talk to these people about these basic aerodynamic forces, certainly I need to have some graphics, some pictures, some visuals, some video clips, etc. This will facilitate the listener's comprehension. So it all depends upon the topic that the speaker is going to speak on.
All right. So Dr. George has very beautifully explained to us the technical aspects of an informative speech. Dr. George, I'd like to ask you, can technical topics be used while speaking to a common audience?
I would say yes, we can. But we need to be very careful about delivering a speech on a technical topic to a common audience. But what we need to do is to make sure that they understand the message and meaning of your speech. For instance, when you talk about a complex concept, break it down into smaller parts or components, which are absolutely understandable to the audience members. You can talk about anything. For example, way back probably 10 years ago when I was delivering my project speeches in Toastmasters, I came to a point where I was required to deliver a speech to a non-technical audience. The topic was all about, aerodynamic forces, as I told you earlier. Now, simpler, how does an aircraft take off? This was a topic. And I thoroughly researched this topic. I just went over 3, 4 sources of information. Finally, I gathered all the relevant details and converted it into a project, a presentation. But I did not use the same words and jargon that I came across in my sources. Rather, I made them easier for the audience members to understand. So a technical presenter or a person who's delivering a speech to inform has to be very careful about it. Know your audience and come down to their level. You should always gear your speech down to their level. Otherwise, you may lose them. So yes, we can deliver technical presentations to a
All right.
non-audience. Yes.
Dr. George, how can we organize an informative speech?
An informative speech has to be organized as follows. First, always start with an introduction. Now, you don't want to scare the audience, all right, into silence.
Right.
So you need to be very careful about it, and therefore first give them a little introduction. And the introduction should include some attention getters and a thesis statement. When I say attention getters, grab their attention by telling a little story. For example, you are going to talk about safety, standard safety in place. But when you talk about the importance of safety to industrial workers who have no clues about safety, for instance, you should start with a little story. They say stories are sticking. And then come up with a thesis statement. Right after that, you can just get into the main body of your speech. That means the major components of an informative speech can be found in the body of the speech. So the complete story, the information, then come down to the concluding part of the speech. Conclude very effectively. That's very important. What you say towards the end of your speech remains lingering in the minds of the audience members for a long time to come. Therefore, your conclusion has to be very effective. Don't stop short there. Go ahead. Just spend a few minutes taking questions from the audience and answering them successfully. So, to repeat or to sum up, there should be an introduction, body, and conclusion, plus a little segment on questions and answers. So this will make a speech to inform completely holistic and well organized.
All right. And how can we ensure the credibility of an informative speech?
That's one of the issues. For example, every talk, Tom and Dick and Harry can just deliver a speech on a technical topic. Probably they may just try to convince the audience, but the audience members are really smart enough not to be convinced easily. And therefore, in order to establish the credibility of the speaker and the speech, all he needs or she needs to do is share with the audience members the sources of information, the reliable sources of information accessible to them. Let them verify. And they should also be encouraged to fact check the information presented. I may say, for example, there are 10 aerodynamic forces involved in flying an aircraft. But in fact, in reality, there are only four basic aerodynamic forces. So if I try to just tell them a cock and bull story and get away with that, audience members will understand very easily. So for you to be credible and the speech to be credible, you have to let them know the sources of information. They should be encouraged to fact check everything that you get across to the audience members. In this way, you can easily establish your credibility and the credibility of the information you present to the audience members. Did I answer?
Usually, yes, you did perfectly. And usually, informative speeches are very dry and boring. How can we change them and make them exciting?
That's right. That's a very good question. One of the inherent problems with technical presentations and technical speeches, especially when we speak to inform a new group of people, novices, the problems are, as you said, these speeches are likely to be very dry. They are not inspiring speeches. They're not designed to
Right.
inspire the audience members. Therefore, start.
And people might get distracted as well.
Absolutely. Therefore, in order to grab their attention, tell a story. For example, recently I listened to one of the speeches delivered by an engineer by profession, and he talked about the importance of safety, how to prevent a fire accident. And he started with a story and with a little video clip. And all audience members were full of attention. They paid instant attention they connected with the speaker instantly because he came up with a little story that was very interesting about a fire accident which claimed as many as 100 lives. They watched the video clip. They were on the same page as the speaker. And therefore, storytelling is one of the important techniques. And try to give examples close to the hearts of the audience members. Okay, do not talk about something which they are nowhere close to. Make sure that anything, any example or story that you narrate is close to their heart. They should instantly resonate. They should be with you. So storytelling and giving examples close to their hearts will be two ideal ways of making your speech as interesting as possible.
All
Story,
right.
and also we should make sure that these stories are not too long. They should be short enough, short
Right.
and brief.
You seem to be an expert in, informative speeches. Have you ever delivered an informative speech yourself?
I delivered my first speech in this area, that is speaking to inform, was way back 15 years ago. But
Okay.
as I explained to you, it was not a big success. I lost some of my audience members. And I delivered the same speech. It was all about the origin of rivers, rivulets, then streams and tributaries, distributaries, the cycle of this nature. I was trying to share with a group of audience consisting of mainly mothers, children, school-going children, and so on. It was not a big success at the beginning, but later when I repeated the same project second time, it was perfectly all right. And then I moved on to delivering a speech on aerodynamic forces and many more things. And even I talked about computers at some point in time. So it all depends upon how hardworking you are. You need to thoroughly research the topic. Never ever leave any room for improvement when you deliver a presentation. If you do that, you will be successful. I think Professor Peer Mohammed has done quite a lot on this. He has delivered so many technical presentations, I think.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say to that?
Well, Basrin, you are asking about how to plan and prepare an informative speech. Before that, let me supplement and compliment Dr. George. He beautifully explained what is an informative speech, what are the objectives of an informative speech, and what are the elements of informative speech. And also he spoke about the audiovisual means, how judiciously you have to select the audiovisual means. Let me supplement what he said. Let me share the screen, just a second. What you see here is the graphical representation of various media, how effective it is. You can see if someone is reading, he can understand only 10% of what he read. When someone listens, 20% of effectiveness will be there. When you are showing some images or watching the videos, the effectiveness will be 30%. And when the speaker, he shows some kind of demonstration, or when the audience watches demonstration or attends exhibits, the effectiveness will be 50%. And if someone participates in hands-on workshops and design and collaborative lessons, then the effectiveness of learning will be 70%. So you can understand from these the effectiveness of various media. You can use it accordingly in your informative speech. It depends upon what exactly you want to inform. Now let me come to explain about the planning and preparation of the informative speech. You can see here is the graphical representation of the informative speech, how to prepare it. Number one is the audience profile. You must analyze about your audience. What is his age? What is his educational background? What is his working knowledge? And what is his geographic profile? where he comes from. All these things comes into picture. Then only you can understand exactly your audience. The second thing is your topic. Your topic should be informative enough to make the speech attractive to the audience. Number three is the topic. You must narrow the topic. What I mean by narrowing the topic means you will be given a limited time of speaking of around 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Within that time, you will be able to speak only on one specific or particular topic. You cannot speak so widely and broadly. So you have to narrow your topic, speak on a specific and particular topic. And the next one is gathering information. This is very important. When you are speaking an informative speech, you must gather a lot of information. How to gather information? Number one, you can go and approach the people whom you know very well. You can go and approach them. Either you can take an interview or you can ask them few questions and gather information. Or what you can do, you can go to the nearest library and collect information from the library. Or more easily on your mobile or laptop, you can search through Google. On the internet, there is wide array of information. The next fifth element is preparing presentation aids. What is presentation aid? You can use the presentation aid. What I mean by is PowerPoint presentation. It's the most easiest thing that one you can use. Or you can use some kind of posters. It depends upon your need and requirement. You can display some placard and you can display, or you can run some audio if there is a need for displaying or running audio. And the next thing is organizing your speech. Your speech should be well organized. There should be a structured introduction, there should be a body, there should be a conclusion. So in your introduction, your speech should be very attractive enough to attract the attention of the audience. There should be a hook to attract the attention of the audience, and the body, that is it covers the wide array of information that you want to speak. And the conclusion, you must make an impact in your conclusion by giving your opinion and your judgment. And last one is the delivery of your speech. In the delivery, you must keep attention to your body language, your tone, your tenor. So this is how you can prepare your informative speech. Well, Basran, you are asking why informative speech is important. Of course, it is important. Let me tell, first of all, the importance of information. This is an age of information technology. No one would have believed half a century ago that there will be a word information technology today, but it's a reality today. The world is full of information. So information speech is very, very important. Every businessman is looking for information. What is competitor is doing? What about the information about the supplier, the customers? So the informative speech plays a very vital role in business and industry. Let me expand to you. The information that you'll be using in your informative speech should be accurate. It should be complete. It should answer to the questions what, why, where, when, and who. And the information should be relevant. And the information should be always available and accessible. All these factors you have to consider in your informative speech. Let me give another example why information is very important. You can look here. This is a world of which 49% they are using social media. That is what? Full of information. So that is the importance of information. You can see here in the graph. Half of the population of the world is using information. So from this we can understand informative speech is very, very important. This graph shows the popularity of information and social media. You can see Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, WeChat, that is in China, Instagram, all these play a very huge role in the information technology and social media. So that is the importance of information. So information that matters in business. I hope I answered your questions, and I hope you understand the importance of information and the informative speech. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, the both of you, for giving your input on informative speeches. I'm sure the audience will benefit greatly from this. So thank you, both of you, Dr. George and Dr. Peer Mohammed.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Madam Hostess, for your warmth and love and kind care and concern. We thoroughly enjoyed delivering this short talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.